I did a tips and tricks. We want to add this into our meetings, and I did one earlier, and somehow doing it, it got muted. So let's just hold on a minute. Don't mute anybody, and I want to pop it up here and share this with you. It's I think this is the one we want to have. Let's try it.
Hey, this is Captain Eddie. I got a tip for you. This is Charles. You know Charles? Oh, you might know him as Chuck. This is what most of my work that I turn is held on. It's an extremely versatile tool, and I can change these jaws just like this, and I can put another set of jaws on this chuck, and I can go down to hold a 3/8 inch rod, or open it up to hold a 5 inch mortise or tendon. Yes, it's excellent for variety. Now, I use one-way strongholds. This doesn't apply to just this one brand. It applies to all chucks because all of them have interchangeable jaws within that brand, and they all have safeties built in. Well, let's talk about the safeties. I've opened this one up. I took the two chucks off, two jaws off, here and here. Now, the jaw with the safety is really unique. It's got a little pin right here. Now that pin slides in a little pocket on the face of the chuck. Now, when you put it on and anchor it down, if you put it in a short hole, when you open the chuck all the way, the jaws will not come beyond the face or the top of the chuck. Now, if I flip it over and put it in the long ones and open the chuck all the way, these lugs or jaws will lift higher than the face. Why is that? It's a safety for novice turners, not beginners, not rookies, novice turners. It creates a tool that you can't over expand or go past the face. Whereas if you make contact with it, you're a novice turner. You make contact with it, you make the front page of the paper. It will be nasty. If it's turned back in and you're on a short range, you don't have those lugs sticking out, and you brush past it, you will know it, but you can always put Band-Aids on it and recover. So that's the safety of this. Now, next is, we're talking chucks. This is a Spigot Chuck, and it's got a little bracket on it, okay, and it's got a rod slipped down the middle. Now, I can put that in there and hold the 3/8 inch bottle stopper peg, grab it right here, and almost 100% contact with it because of the right size. And that's a nice idea. Not as good as a collar chuck, but it's a nice idea. But I can also hold things up to maybe 1.5 inches or so and offset. They all vary, okay? But you can find out by closing and opening. When you open them, leave it in the safety lock because you don't want to be over opened. That makes sense. You want to get the most out of your chuck every time you use it. Now, what size? Now, all chucks are different. Come here, Charles Jr. This is my other one-way stronghold chuck. Yeah, I have a box ball. Okay, it's one of those things. You see it, you got to buy it, you got to have it. Then you find out you already got it, you didn't need to buy it. Okay, I did that. So this is my gauge. It's rather simple. There's certain versions of it, and one of the guys in Worldwide Wood Turners, one of our turners, will show you how to create your own to match your jaws. But this has got two pockets. This is the size of the outside, and this is the size of the inside. So what do you mean? What do I mean? I mean, if I crank this down, and I close my jaw up, and I'll leave about a 16th or an 18th of an inch in the gap in there. When I want to fit this onto inside a mortise, I would use that one to determine the size of my mortise. Oops, I had it upside down. That one to determine the size of my mortise. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, all right? Now, if I want to hook it on a tenon, I turn it over and check. That's the size of my tenon. You see that? Now, I've gotten so used to it that I can get close and then check it with the gauge. But I know I'm going to match this. Why? Because I want to get as much of this jaw inside for a tenon, outside for a mortise, making contact with the material I'm going to turn. The most contact I have in the uniform order, which is close to circle, the better I'll be holding the piece. Now, if I expand it, even within the boundaries, I love it. I got one. This has got magnets in it. Oh, loves it right there. Right. On the circle, if I'm close to the circle, when I open up, I get the most grab. I close down, I get the most grab. If I expand it too big and put a piece in, I'm grabbing it on 4 points, not with the circle, the diameter of the chuck. I'm out reaching. Same thing if it's open on the inside. I'm out reaching. And I'm going to find out that I'm touching mostly on the high points, not on the strike points in a mortise. It's hard for you to see, but if you have one that's broken, take a look at where it grabs at. All right? That's what this jaw does. That's what that template does. I have another one of these templates. Oh, that's the number 2 set. I'm going to start working out. All right. The number 1 set are these. The number 3 and 4 set are larger and larger. And all that is within range of the chuck. They're made by the chuck manufacturer. I could probably go online and find some other chucks, some other bits to do this, jaws and all that. Do I really, really want to exceed what the manufacturer thinks the tool will do? They tested it. They're pretty good people. They made the part. Stick within range. Next, if you do have it on something that's, say you're pushing the limits on it, and you stretch this all the way out, and it comes to the jaw, to the stop point, and you decide, I'm just going to force a little bit more to do that. Let me tell you, you don't want to do that. Don't do it. Don't even try to do it. You'll bend that tube on the back of it, and then it gets bound up. Why? Because you jammed it. You have to take it off, go find a way to hold it, tap it back in shape. You might crack it, and then the safety's going. But just don't do it. It's got a limit. That's it. If you have it on a short one and it hits, change it over to the long one if it's important. If you size your work, your tenon and your mortise, to match your jaws, you won't have to worry about that. So, next is you hold in a big piece and you get a catch. Some people get catches. Some of us don't. All right. And you get a catch and it kicks the piece out. Number 1, it's going to hurt. Number 2, you should have had your tailstock up against it. Number 3, what if you bent the chuck, the jaws? What if you bent that one out a little bit, or you bent it in a little bit, or you bent one in, one out? Okay, here's the trick for you. You take it over to something solid like the bed of your toys, and you tap on it with it. If you think I'm going to tell you to tap on it with the hammer and straighten it back out, I'll tap on you first. You don't try to straighten them out. They have been fractured. If they bent, they have been fractured. They have to give it up someplace. Where is the fracture? How bad is the fracture? Is it going to hold next time you put it under a deer load? Any of those, you're smarter than everybody else in the chuck business. Really. So if you bend one, that's trash. Buy a replacement set, cheaper than the chuck. Buy a replacement set, and when you set it, you throw this one away. I'm not going to throw it because I got to go get it. Throw this one away, you put this one in the kit. And then you have 3 more spares in case you get goofy and do it again. That's jaws on a chuck. Oh, let me show you how I'm working on this. You're going to love it. With me, it's time to start pretending. Now pretend I have a piece between these two. And I'm getting ready to put a finish on it. I might be putting a little sealer, maybe some CA up, some Ubi Shine Juice, something like that on the piece. And it's spinning right there. And that's the target. That's what's going to happen. That's going to come off and drop there. Now, some folks have got a piece of plywood cut that'll fit there or whatever. You have to hold that up or it walks around a little bit. Oh, well, let's get the diaper out. You heard it click? That's it. The diaper's in place. Whatever I do here and drip, it's going to hit the diaper. Oil, glue, whatever. They hit the diaper. It's perfect. I am keeping my lathe clean with a simple diaper. That's it. And it's magnet. So it sticks on there. So when I want to get it off, it's that much effort. Where do I store it? Right there. It sticks to any part of the lathe if it's a steel lathe. All right. So I take my diaper, whip it on, and it keeps all the trash and stuff off my bedways. There you go. It's a simple project. That's another thing I wanted to show you about working with your chucks. Now, another issue when you're on there is right here. This is your live center. Okay, I got to find my pin. There it is. The little tool rack over here. This is my live center. It might not look familiar to you because I have put a hat on it. Most live centers come with a pin. And you push this pin against something in order to hold it. Right. What's that pin do? It holds it, right? Now, if I'm just using the stabilizer to put some pressure on a piece, I can always knock the pin out, take it out of here, knock the pin out. Don't lose the pin. I've read about that one time. You take the pin out, you just touch them with a cup. It's not as offensive, but it still leaves a mark. Let's talk to Charles's brother, who's got a hat. This is what I've always called a soft touch. This is just really this piece of 2x4. I drilled a 5/8 hole in it, and then I took a 3/4 10 tap. I bought down at the hardware store. Imagine. And I tapped the 3/4 10. Then I dripped a little CA in it. I let it sit overnight. Don't rush this now. Then I retapped it to clean it up because I don't want the threads to give up. I put my pin in, drop it in right. Then when I screw this on, and there's no effort to screw it on, I went past it there. I can bring it up tight, take the pin out, and then I have the soft touch. Now you can see it spins there, and it's wood. A couple of benefits of it. I'm going to have a bowl or a box or whatever, or a plot plate, whatever, on here, and I want to stabilize it, put some pressure on the front of it, but I don't want to ruin it, right? Okay, if I did it with a pin, I'm going to leave a mark. If I did it with a steel ring, I'm going to leave a mark. If I did it with a plastic ring, I'm going to leave a mark. Okay? Some ways to get around it, but the best way is, in my opinion, is to create a soft touch. I'm going to create the soft touch. I'm going to push it up against it. What's it do? All right, I'm going to cut a little piece of foam from a mouse pad or tray liner or whatever and lay it right over the front. Not a big piece, little piece. When I push it up, I'm pushing something softer than the wood up to it. Now, you can get that rubber stuff, and it'll do the same thing. This came out of my shop. Now, if I need one with a point to push against something, I just reshape this to a point. How to reshape it? I put a 3/4 10 bolt in my headstock, put it in there and shape it. Don't cut through it because you'll hit Chuck. All right, I'll shape it. I can go to a point. I've done it with a cup, done it with a large inside size to hold spheres. Beautiful way to hold a sphere. But that's all you can do with this. If you do pins and you see the stuff in the catalog that's a multi-purpose thing to where you can do this and do that, you don't need to put a screw in your mandrel, which the best way to hold something on a pin mandrel is not for me as a mandrel, but from the bearings or the bushings. You drill a hole in this and you make the face of it corian. You drill a hole through that corian. When you put that rod through, you just made one of those kits they sell you for like $19 plus freight. And look, the cost of gas, you don't have to pay freight. But that'll give you soft touch that your mandrel will go into it. This will bear up to it. It'll be a good tight fit. No vibration this way. Compression's pushing the bushing. You made it in your shop. You did. Oh, you don't have coriander? Check Home Depot or Lowe's. They'll give you a 2x2 sample of the countertop. Yeah. Tell them I sent you. Okay. That's a soft touch. Well, for today's tips and tricks, I went right here, directly in front of me, and I found a little thing I can tell you about the chucks and a little thing about the tailstock, but I didn't cover it all. Somebody else is going to step up and say, hold on a minute, I got this trick, I got this tip, and that's what Worldwide Woodturners does every single meeting. So if you've got one, make sure you share it with us. And if you tell us, we won't tell anybody else. Okay? That's the way it goes. I'm Captain Eddie. Back to the meeting.